Welcome to the European Association for Higher Education Advancement's YouTube and podcast channel. Today we're taking a deep dive into a topic that's both unsettling and incredibly relevant: cyberbullying. We're going beyond the surface, past the simple idea that bullying is bad, and exploring what makes cyberbullying unique and, frankly, more insidious. We're using an article from the EAEEA as our guide, which adds an interesting layer to our exploration. We might discover insights that apply not just to the schoolyard, but to the world of higher education as well.
It's fascinating how cyberbullying takes the core elements of traditional bullying and amplifies them through technology. It weaponizes the always-on nature of the internet, turning something that might have been a contained incident into a persistent source of anxiety for the victim.
Okay, let's unpack this. The EAEA defines cyberbullying as intentional and repeated harm inflicted through electronic devices. But what really struck me is how this definition, while straightforward, doesn't quite capture the chilling reality of cyberbullying. Have you ever been on the receiving end of a relentless barrage of hateful messages or seen someone's reputation torn apart by online rumors? It's more than just mean words on a screen. It's a calculated attack on someone's sense of self.
Absolutely. And one of the most disturbing aspects is the anonymity that the internet provides. Bullies can hide behind fake profiles, using this shield to escalate their attacks without fear of immediate consequence. This can create a sense of power and control, fueling the cycle of abuse.
The article highlights some specific cyberbullying tactics that really send chills down my spine. For instance, imagine receiving a constant stream of abusive messages escalating to threats. That's harassment, a tactic designed to wear down the victim's defenses and make them feel constantly unsafe, even in their own homes.
The psychological impact of such relentless harassment can be devastating. It creates a climate of fear and anxiety, making it difficult for the victim to focus on anything else. Imagine the dread of constantly checking your phone, anticipating the next wave of abuse.
And then there's flaming, which takes that aggression to a public forum. It's like throwing verbal grenades in online communities, aiming for maximum damage to someone's reputation and social standing. It's not just a heated argument, it's a deliberate attempt to humiliate and isolate the victim in a very public way.
What's particularly insidious about flaming is the potential for a mob mentality to take hold. A single inflammatory comment can quickly spiral into a chorus of abuse, creating a sense of validation for the bully and overwhelming the victim.
And if we think about the psychological why behind this, it makes you wonder, are these bullies seeking a twisted sense of belonging or power by joining in on the attack? Is it a way to mask their own insecurities by tearing someone else down? It's a chilling thought.
Those are excellent questions and ones that researchers are still exploring. But there's definitely a link between cyberbullying and deep-seated psychological needs, whether it's a lack of empathy, a thirst for control, or a desire to fit in with a particular online group.
Another tactic that takes things to a whole new level is cyberstalking. It goes beyond angry words and enters the realm of obsession and control. We're talking about using technology to track someone's location, monitor their online activity, and invade their privacy in ways that would make anyone feel incredibly vulnerable.
What's particularly dangerous about cyberstalking is that it can easily escalate from online harassment to real-world threats and actions. It blurs the lines between the digital and physical world, creating a sense of constant fear for the victim.
It's like a digital shadow always looming, making the victim feel like they're constantly being watched and judged. It's a terrifying thought, and one that highlights the serious consequences of cyberbullying that extend far beyond the screen.
Exactly. And the use of specific technologies and tactics can make cyberstalking even more insidious. For instance, GPS tracking apps, spyware, and social media monitoring tools can provide stalkers with an alarming amount of information about their victims' movements and activities.
It's scary to think how accessible these tools are and how easily they can be misused. It really underscores the need for greater awareness and education around the potential dangers of technology and the legal ramifications of using it for malicious purposes.
Absolutely. We need to empower individuals to protect themselves online and to recognize the signs of cyberstalking. It's not just about being careful about what information we share online. It's also about understanding the tools and tactics that stalkers can use and knowing how to seek help if you feel threatened.
And speaking of feeling threatened, another tactic the EAEA outlines is posing. Now, this one is straight out of a psychological thriller. Imagine someone hacking into your accounts and posting inflammatory or embarrassing content under your name. It's a complete violation of your identity and a calculated attack on your reputation and relationships.
Posing can be particularly devastating because it exploits the trust that we place in online identities. It's a betrayal of that trust and can have long-lasting consequences for the victim's personal and professional life. It's like someone stealing your voice and using it to spread lies and misinformation, making it incredibly difficult to clear your name.
It's a nightmare scenario, and one that highlights the importance of strong passwords and two-factor authentication to protect our online accounts. But beyond the practical measures, it also raises some unsettling questions about the nature of identity in the digital age. If someone can so easily hijack our online persona, what does that say about our sense of self in a hyper-connected world?
That's a fascinating question, and it speaks to the broader psychological and societal implications of cyberbullying. It's not just about individual acts of cruelty, it's about how technology can be used to manipulate control and ultimately undermine our sense of who we are.
It's like a digital invasion of our most private selves, a violation of our boundaries that can leave us feeling exposed and vulnerable in a way that traditional bullying never could.
And then we have blackmail, a tactic that preys on our deepest fears and vulnerabilities. Imagine the chilling dread of someone threatening to expose your secrets, your private photos, or your embarrassing moments unless you comply with their demands. It's a power play designed to exploit your weaknesses and control your actions.
It's like a digital hostage situation where the victim feels trapped with no escape. And the stakes can be incredibly high, especially if the blackmailer threatens to share sensitive information with family, friends, or employers.
Blackmail is a stark reminder that cyberbullying can have serious real-world consequences, impacting not only the victim's emotional well-being, but potentially their financial stability and social standing as well.
It's a stark reminder that the digital world isn't some separate realm where actions have no consequences. What happens online can have a ripple effect that reaches far beyond the screen, impacting our relationships, our careers, and our sense of safety in the physical world.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that blackmail is a crime regardless of whether it takes place online or offline. If you're being blackmailed, it's crucial to seek help from law enforcement or a trusted adult. There are resources available to support you and to hold the perpetrator accountable for their actions.
The last tactic the EAEEA highlights is denigration, which is like a character assassination in the digital age. It's about spreading lies and rumors to damage someone's reputation and make them an outcast in their online communities. It taps into our primal fear of social rejection, turning the internet into a virtual high school where popularity and social standing are weaponized.
Denigration is particularly effective in the age of social media, where information spreads quickly and virally. A single false post or tweet can reach thousands of people in minutes, creating a snowball effect that's difficult to control.
It's like a digital scarlet letter, branding the victim with a label that's hard to shake off, no matter how untrue it might be. It's a powerful reminder that in the online world, perception can quickly become reality, and even the most baseless rumors can have lasting consequences.
And it's not just about the initial spread of misinformation, it's also about the lasting impact on the victim's online presence. Once a negative narrative takes hold, it can be incredibly difficult to reclaim control of your online identity. Even if the rumors are debunked, the damage may already be done.
It's like a digital stain that follows you around, making it hard to build new relationships or even just participate in online communities without facing suspicion or judgment. It's a sobering thought, and one that highlights the need for greater media literacy and critical thinking skills in the digital age.
Absolutely. We need to be discerning consumers of information online, questioning sources, and being wary of sensationalized stories that prey on our emotions. It's about developing a healthy skepticism and not accepting everything we read online at face value.
It's like being a digital detective looking for clues and evidence to separate fact from fiction. And it's a skill that's becoming increasingly important in a world where information overload and misinformation are becoming the norm.
That's a great analogy, and it speaks to the broader need for education and awareness around cyberbullying. It's not enough to simply tell people not to be mean online. We need to equip them with the tools and knowledge they need to navigate the digital landscape safely and responsibly.
So we've explored these chilling tactics that cyberbullies use. But what I find particularly interesting is the EAEA article, while thorough in its definitions, doesn't really delve into the why. Why do people engage in this behavior? What's going on in their minds?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And while there's no single answer, research has shed some light on the underlying psychological and social factors that contribute to cyberbullying. One of the most common motivations is a lack of empathy. Bullies often struggle to understand or care about the impact of their actions on others. They may even derive pleasure from inflicting pain or humiliation.
It's a chilling thought, almost like they're emotionally disconnected from the human beings on the other side of the screen. And it makes you wonder, is this something that's innate or is it learned behavior? Can empathy be taught or nurtured even in those who seem to lack it?
That's a crucial question, and one that's at the heart of many anti-bullying initiatives. While some individuals may be predisposed to lower levels of empathy, research suggests that it's a skill that can be developed through social and emotional learning programs. By fostering a sense of compassion, understanding, and perspective taking, we can potentially break the cycle of cyberbullying at its root.
It's almost like planting seeds of kindness in the digital world, nurturing a culture of empathy and respect that can counteract the negativity and hostility that often breeds cyberbullying.
Exactly. It's about creating a digital environment where empathy is not seen as a weakness, but as a strength. Where understanding the impact of our words and actions online is not just a rule to follow, but a core value that guides our interactions.
And that brings us to another key factor, power dynamics. Cyberbullying can be a way for individuals to assert dominance over others, especially if they feel powerless or insecure in other areas of their lives. It's like a twisted equation. A lack of power in one domain leads to a thirst for control in another.
That's a pattern we see often in cyberbullying cases. The anonymity and distance provided by the internet can create a sense of invincibility, allowing bullies to lash out without fear of immediate repercussions. It's like a virtual mask that emboldens them, giving them a false sense of power and control.
It's almost like they're projecting their own insecurities onto their victims, using cyberbullying as a way to compensate for their own feelings of inadequacy.
That's a very insightful observation. And it highlights the importance of addressing the underlying emotional and social needs of those who engage in cyberbullying. It's not about excusing their behavior, but about understanding the root causes and providing them with alternative ways to cope with their emotions and build healthy relationships.
It's like a digital detox for the soul, helping them to shed the mask of anonymity and reconnect with their own humanity.
And let's not forget the role of social factors. Cyberbullying can be influenced by peer pressure group dynamics and the desire to fit in or gain social status. In some online communities, cruelty and aggression are seen as markers of popularity or belonging, creating a toxic environment where cyberbullying thrives.
It's like a digital popularity contest, where likes and shares become currency and the most ruthless individuals rise to the top.
That's a great analogy, and it highlights the need to shift online social norms away from negativity and hostility towards kindness, empathy, and respect.
It's like a digital cultural revolution, where we redefine what it means to be cool online, where inclusivity and compassion are valued over aggression and exclusion.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect, the role of bystanders. We often focus on the bullies and the victims, but what about those who witness cyberbullying happening? What responsibility do they have to intervene?
It's a question we all need to ask ourselves, especially in the digital age, where we're constantly bombarded with information and often feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of negativity online. But the truth is, silence is complicity. By turning a blind eye to cyberbullying, we're essentially condoning it and allowing it to continue.
Exactly. And while it's easy to feel powerless in the face of such a pervasive problem, the reality is that bystanders can make a real difference. They have the power to disrupt the cycle of cyberbullying by speaking out against it, reporting it to platform moderators, and offering support to the victim.
It's like being a digital superhero, using your voice and your actions to protect those who are being targeted.
And it doesn't require grand gestures or heroic feats. Even small acts of kindness, like sending a supportive message to the victim or simply calling out the bully's behavior, can make a difference.
It's about shifting the balance of power, showing the bully that their actions are not acceptable and that there are consequences for their behavior.
And it's about sending a message to the victim that they are not alone, that there are people who care about them and are willing to stand up for them.
It's about creating a digital community where cyberbullying is not tolerated, where everyone feels safe and respected, regardless of their differences.
Exactly. And that brings us to the question of prevention.
Yep.
What can we do to stop cyberbullying before it even starts?
It's like a digital vaccine, inoculating our online communities against the virus of hate and negativity.
That's a great analogy. And one of the most effective ways to prevent cyberbullying is through education. We need to teach young people about responsible online behavior, digital citizenship, and the importance of empathy and respect.
It's about giving them the tools and knowledge they need to navigate the digital landscape safely and ethically, to understand the power of their words and actions online, and to make conscious choices that contribute to a positive and inclusive online environment.
And it's not just about teaching young people. We need to educate parents, educators, and community leaders as well. They play a crucial role in shaping online norms and creating a culture of respect and responsibility.
It's like a digital village, where we all have a responsibility to look out for each other and to create a safe and supportive environment for everyone.
Exactly. And that includes being aware of the signs of cyberbullying, knowing how to report it, and having open conversations with young people about their online experiences.
It's about breaking the silence and fostering a culture where cyberbullying is not swept under the rug, but is addressed openly and honestly.
And it's about empowering young people to speak up if they see something wrong, to be upstanders rather than bystanders, and to use their voices to create a more positive and inclusive digital world.
So we've explored the chilling tactics of cyberbullying, delved into the complex psychological and social factors that drive it, and talked about the importance of bystander intervention and prevention. But I think it's crucial to also address the impact on the victims.
Yeah.
The EAEA article touches on this, but it's something that deserves a deeper dive. It's heartbreaking to think about the emotional toll cyberbullying takes on victims. The EHEA article mentions anxiety, depression, social isolation, and even suicidal thoughts. These aren't just fleeting emotions. They're serious mental health concerns that can have long-lasting impacts.
That's right. The constant barrage of negativity, the fear of being exposed or humiliated online, the feeling of powerlessness, all of these can contribute to a sense of hopelessness and despair. And because cyberbullying can happen, 247 victims often feel like they have no escape, no safe space to recover and rebuild their sense of self.
It's like a digital prison where the bars are made of hateful comments, embarrassing photos, and relentless rumors. And the worst part is, unlike traditional bullying, which might be confined to school or a specific social group, cyberbullying can follow victims everywhere they go, on their phones, on their computers, on social media.
Exactly. The pervasiveness of technology makes it incredibly difficult for victims to disconnect from the abuse. They might feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next attack will come. This constant state of hypervigilance can be incredibly draining, leading to sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating, and a heightened sense of anxiety.
It's like a digital shadow that follows them everywhere, a constant reminder of the abuse they've endured. And it's not just the direct victims who suffer. Their families and friends can also be deeply affected, feeling helpless and frustrated as they watch their loved ones struggle with the emotional fallout of cyberbullying.
That's an important point. The ripple effects of cyberbullying can be far-reaching, impacting entire families and communities. Parents might feel overwhelmed and unsure how to help their child, while friends might struggle with feelings of guilt or fear that they could become targets themselves.
It's like a digital virus that spreads, infecting not just the individual, but their entire social network. And it highlights the need for a collective response to cyberbullying, one that involves parents, educators, law enforcement, and mental health professionals working together to support victims and address the root causes of this harmful behavior.
Absolutely. It's not enough to simply tell victims to ignore it or toughen up. We need to provide them with the resources and support they need to heal, to rebuild their self-esteem, and to develop coping mechanisms for dealing with online harassment.
It's like providing a digital first aid kit, equipped with tools for emotional healing, digital safety, and legal recourse. And just as importantly, it's about creating a culture of empathy and support, both online and offline, where victims feel empowered to speak out and seek help without fear of judgment or shame.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's about shifting the narrative around cyberbullying, moving away from blaming the victim and towards creating a culture of accountability and support.
So what does this all mean? I think the biggest takeaway from this deep dive is that cyberbullying is not just a harmless prank or kids being kids. It's a serious form of abuse that can have devastating and long-lasting consequences for victims. It's a societal problem that requires a multifaceted solution, one that addresses the psychological and social factors that contribute to cyberbullying, empowers bystanders to intervene, and provides victims with the resources and support they need to heal.
You've summed it up perfectly. It's about understanding the complexities of cyberbullying, recognizing the signs, and taking action to prevent it and to support those who have been affected by it.
And on that note, I think it's important to remind our listeners that they're not alone. If you're experiencing cyberbullying, there are resources available to help. Organizations like StopBullying.gov and the Cyberbullying Research Center offer valuable information and support.
And don't be afraid to reach out to a trusted adult, a parent-teacher counselor, or anyone you feel comfortable talking to. Sharing your experience can be the first step towards healing and finding solutions.
We've explored the dark side of the digital world today, but I think it's important to end on a note of hope. While cyberbullying is a serious issue, it's not insurmountable. By working together, we can create a digital world that is safer, kinder, and more inclusive for everyone.
I wholeheartedly agree. Remember, even small actions can make a big difference. Speaking out against cyberbullying, offering support to victims, and promoting positive online interactions can all contribute to a more positive and empathetic digital culture.
So let's all commit to being upstanders, not bystanders. Let's use our voices and our actions to create a digital world where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. Please don't forget to follow the European Association for Higher Education Advancement on YouTube and social media.